President Muhammadu Buhari today chaired the Council of State meeting and issues of security was raised, as well as Census 2023. And INEC has stopped its continuous voter registration in the Hita Uboma local government area of Imo State after gunmen killed a staff of the commission when they invaded the center, with two other staff's whereabouts still unknown. Welcome everyone to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale in Abuja. On a sad note that we begin this program tonight, where tragedy struck today in Ihite Uboma local government area of Imo State, where an official of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, was shot dead by gunmen who invaded the Nkwo Ihite PU 004 in Amakoya Ward, Area 02 of Ihite Uboma local government area of Imo State. INEC in a press statement today says that Mr. Nwokori Anthony, a staff of the Imo State office of the INEC involved in the ongoing civil exercise, was killed earlier while conducting the registration process. INEC also adds that the whereabouts of the other two remaining staff of the commission involved in the registration area exercise is still unknown. The commission has since suspended the exercise in that area. Prior to this incident, INEC suspended the CVR in Osu and in Jaba local government areas of Imo State on account of insecurity, while the exercise is taking place only at the INEC LGA office in Oru East, Oru West, Olu, and Ohaji Egbema local government areas of Imo State. The commission is now asking for the help of the President General of the various town unions in Imo State, as well as all the critical stakeholders, to protect staff of the commission engaged in this national assignment. Let's tell you that the National Assembly has approved President Muhammadu Buhari's request to increase fuel subsidy payments in 2022 to 4 trillion naira from 442.72 billion. The legislators made the approval after considering the report of the Committee on Finance on the revised 2022 fiscal framework. The Senate also approved the President's request to raise the oil price benchmark from $62 per barrel to $73 per barrel, and the reduction of projected oil production volume from 1.883 million to 1.6 million barrels per day. Take a listen to the lawmakers. Apologies for the bad audio. We'll try to fix it and probably be able to get you that soundbite later on under the program. So now it's time for us to check out some of your political roundup stories. But when we come back, of course, from telling you what has happened across the country in terms of politics, we'll also let you know that there are about 18 political parties in Nigeria. But you hear about activities of a few of them. What is happening to all of these political parties, and what are they doing? Are they in the race of the presidential on the 2023 election? We'll find out tonight from some of these political parties. And also in Plateau State, the scenario playing out there in terms of security is worrisome. We speak with one of the lawmakers there tonight on the program. Stay with us. These are some of your political roundup stories.
Family members of those kidnapped in the attack on the Kaduna-bound train on March 28 are appealing to the federal government to urgently save their loved ones from the hands of the kidnappers. They also accuse the government of failing to reach out to them, even when they made all attempts to seek help from them. They stated these positions when they paid a visit to the National Human Rights Commission, Abuja, to seek a solution to the situation. federal government has indicated its readiness to implement the April 6 court judgment that upheld the 35% affirmative action in appointive positions for women in Nigeria. That's according to the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallen, at a conference in Abuja. She adds that the ministry will ensure full implementation of the policy.
Not just sustaining the victory, but ensure the implementation of this victory.
For the first time in Taraba State, no fewer than 10,000 youth from different youth organizations across the state have asked the State Commissioner for Youth and Sports to exit the cabinet of Governor Daira Sishaku and represent them at the National Assembly. The youth in their numbers in Jalingo, while issuing a nomination form purchased by them to the pressurized commissioner, disclosed that his track record gives them confidence of effective representation, reduction in unemployment, drug addiction, thuggery, and other negative social vices amongst young persons in the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission has raised concern over the poor voter registration in the first 3 quarters of continuous voter registration in Enugu State. According to the INEC Commissioner, the Commission has so far registered only 31,000 new voters in the first and third quarters, a poor and nonchalant disposition of the people ahead of the 2023 general elections. Is calling on residents to take advantage of the fourth quarter and register ahead of time.
That Enugu that used to take 3rd or 2nd position across board is now at the lowest rung of the ladder.
Today, President Muhammadu Buhari chaired the Council of State meeting in Abuja, and in attendance were former heads of state, Abu Salami Abubakar, former President Goodluck Jonathan, and Yakubu Gawan, Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, National Security Advisor, Babangana Mogunu, the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, were also in attendance, and several other governors of the states of the Federation who are also present. And part of the deliberations include security situation in the country. Take a listen to the outcome of the meeting on the security issue.
The issue of security was raised, and as the recent killings were raised, and that was why there was wide discussion, and it takes a lot of time from all the governors and stakeholders commenting on the situation in their places. Where the situation is escalating is mentioned, where the situation is getting better was mentioned, and suggestions, like I've said, were proposed and solution discussed, and that was why President wants to call for the Security Council meeting on Tuesday to discuss all the issues raised.
Well, that is their deliberation on the issue of security. As far as census is concerned, for the first time in 16 years, Nigeria is scheduled to hold a national census between March and April 2023, and as part of the decision arrived at the Council of State meeting. Take a listen. Apologies for that. We'll get to that in a short while. Well, the issue of national security is still an issue that worries a lot of Nigerians, especially the situation in Plateau State, where about 106 persons are said to have so far been buried following the attacks on communities in the state. Let's get some insight on what is happening really on the ground. One of the lawmakers representing some part of Plateau State is going to be speaking with us on the program, being joined by the federal lawmaker in the House of Representatives, Honorable Dachong Bagos, who joins us from Plateau State virtually. Thank you so much, Honorable, for speaking with us tonight. Give us a sense of what is happening. The last time you and I spoke about this similar thing, or you spoke on China's television about the security situation, one wonders that maybe there will be an end to this kind of situation, but it does look like a reprisal, or what exactly is happening. Give us a sense of why we're seeing these kind of incessant attacks. It's now becoming almost every month or every 2 months. What is going on in your state?
Yeah, well, actually, Shehu, it's quite usually quite unfortunate with what is happening. majorly two things to me. I've always put it on the table. Number one, the wrong diagnostic action of government. What government usually bring on the table has wrongly been diagnosed, because they have perceived the issue of insecurity as farmers' headers clash, bringing and proposing all the time grazing reserve, ranch, or whatsoever other issues that have been by government as a policy. But actually, that is not the real issue. Secondly, the issue of injustice. Justice have not even been given to people that have been killed in so many years. So the perpetrators will always continue doing what they're doing. So government have not diagnosed this issue appropriately. They have given wrong correlation to the issue of killings on the plateau for so many years that it is farmers' headers clash. But outrightly, which is not the real situation on ground. The situation on ground is a situation where villages and the real people that are landowners have been evacuated, have been killed, and have been chased from their farms. And these farms have been occupied for the past 15 years or so. A lot of lands and a lot of villages have been occupied on the plateau, and the victims have not gotten justice. Those that have occupied the land have not yet been evacuated for the real owners of the land to come back. So the wrong diagnostic nature of government on issues of insecurity and killings on the plateau has given room for issues to be where it is. If you can remember and recall, you hear the deputy speaker, even as it is, calling on government that there are nuclear cells of Boko Haram around some villages in Plateau State, especially Wase, Kanam, and even my own constituency in Jos South. But government have not taken such situations and issues seriously, but rather all we hear is that it is farmers' headers clash. We're going to give you grazing reserve. We're going to give you Ruga to address the issue. That is not the real situation, and that is not the real issue that has been causing all these killings on the plateau.
It's sad what is happening, and one will look at the fact that the lives of people being taken every other time. On the floor of the House, some of your colleagues are asking already for the sack of the NSA. Some are asking for the sack of the Minister of Defense. Questions are being raised on whether or not there's need for mercenaries to help and fight this battle. In your own mind, Honorable, what do you think could be an immediate solution or ways by which we can tackle this thing such that people's lives will not be taken any longer?
Yeah, to some of us, and again, looking at what has been happening is a total collapse of the security system, is a total collapse and understanding of how to address some of these issues. We have on the floor been able to proffer solutions day in, day out. We have brought in motions. We have even been able to amend some of these bills and so on and so forth. So definitely, if people in charge of some of this security architecture are not keeping to the promise of what they have sworn an oath to protect life and properties of the people they are going to work with in service, definitely they have failed. And that's why you see on the floor, we have called for the sack of the service chiefs, which they were changed. The only people and the only person that have not even been sacked or in any way been reshuffled is the NSA, who is the security advisor to the president. And we have asked, what has he been advising the president in terms of insecurity in the country. And we have even asked, what is his qualification? We have even asked, how qualified and in ranking is he to be able to summon some of those generals that he is below in rank too? Because you know that in hierarchy, in the military architecture, most of hierarchy and ranking is very, very important. So what is and how is he really advising the president? So these are some of the issues that we have problems with on the floor of the House. And looking at what is the solution, because now we have resolved that, look, government can no longer protect our people. There is no member on the floor of the House that has not at one point or the other come up with a motion of urgent public importance in terms of insecurity on the floor of the House. So if government can no longer protect us, if what we have been allocating to government on yearly basis in terms of appropriation, government can no longer account for what we have appropriated for, then we call for, look, everybody should defend himself. If you look at the statement of our majority, of the majority leader, and how passionately he spoke, we are all defenseless, that everybody should carry out, because the difference between you, an ordinary citizen, and the person that has been ravaging our lands is just a gun, just AK-47. So meaning that if all of us start holding guns, which they know that we already have what they have, so they cannot even come. So let's defend ourselves. We can no longer always tell our people that, look, do this, do that, go and do this. When we are there to represent the people, we need to tell the people that, look, our hands are full with motions, our hands are full with resolutions, our hands are full with advisory notes to government, and government is not doing anything. So if government feels that what we have been allocating to them to be able to address the issue of insecurity to the police, to the military, and to paramilitary is cannot, or they don't have the expertise, then take this money and go and hire mercenaries to come and address this issue. If the US can send 6 SEAL marine officers to come and rescue their own, I cannot see the reason where hundreds of thousands of military officers, soldiers that are in the field cannot and will not be able to secure our territories. It's so worrisome.
Honorable, there is a peculiarity in the case of Plateau State. If you can just summarily give us what that peculiarity is and why we're seeing these recurrence in Plateau State, and also give us your own update that what you have learned, because from morning we learned that several people have been buried, as of several people buried from that incident. What is the latest? What can you tell us? And what is the peculiarity of the situation in your own area?
Shagun, time immemorial of what has been happening on the plateau. First, there's an issue of ethnic cleansing, in the sense that a lot of ethnic groups have been wiped out on the plateau. First ethnic cleansing that has been happening on the plateau, a lot of villages have been wiped out and are being occupied by unidentified men, by being identified by people that we don't even know where they came from. And when you go search deep into them, you will find out that they are foreign Fulani people that you don't know. They are not Fulanis that have co-inhabited with our people in many years, and government have not done anything with them. And one serious thing again, showing that when you look at the geography of some of these places that have been wiped out on the plateau, number one, you will see that those places have high vegetation area with streams around it, meaning that some people have very good interest in those special areas to be able to wipe the people there, so that either they have an interest for their cattle to be reared in those places because of high vegetation and the running of stream 12 months in a year on that place in that very area. Two, the issue of mining. If you look at what is happening in Wase today, because of the high level of mining in those areas, those places, areas again, have been the people that are occupying those mining sites as the real original people that are from those places have been wiped out. The same thing with the mining sites in Rio, Burkinladi, and even in Jos South. If you check all those areas that people have been killed, most of them are mining sites, most of them are agricultural sites where we go to farm. So when issues like this happen, government will now come and say that it is farmers and herders clash. When you will not find any farmer at any point have any clash with any of these herdsmen that come and wipe them out of their lands.
So,
Most of the farmers are
Honorable, what is, because, over 100 people per set have been buried today. Do we have any other updates? And what would you say is the solution? These are your people. You know them very well. You understand the situation. What would you suggest as a solution?
Sharon, at this point in time, the only solution is that everybody should defend himself. Because the solution that we're giving to government have not done anything. In the constitution, we have the law of self-defense. So the only solution that we know now is that if government cannot defend us, if government cannot even bring mercenaries to be able to wipe out people that have been killing our people, if government cannot wipe out people that are in those cells, the only solution is everybody should defend themselves.
Honorable, these people you are referring to, are they Nigerians or they are aliens? Are they Nigerians at all? These people you're making reference to?
There is always a security report. And one thing again we know is that there is no adequate proper synergy among the security agencies. In the sense that DSS can be able to bring out intel. And when the intel goes out, it's either being intercepted in the sense of it's either my religious brother or on ethnicity ground.
No, but my question, Honorable, is that these people you said they are wiping and cleansing, engaging in ethnic cleansing, based on your claims tonight, are they Nigerians or they are aliens?
Well, Shaun, that it is left for government to identify who they are. But what our people usually see and people that usually come to our villages are herdsmen. And some of them are not people that we have coexisted with them. So, and definitely, whosoever they are, what we can identify as they are herdsmen. So whether they are aliens, whether they are Nigerians, it is government that has the responsibility to identify who came into our territory, to identify and tell us that these people that have come to kill our people, are they Nigerians or are they aliens? But what we can see and what we know, what some of our people have identified, they have identified a lot of them as herdsmen. So we don't know who they are. So these are issues that government will tell us whether they are aliens or who, but we know that we have been under this issue that we see herdsmen in our villages. We see herdsmen in our mining sites and nothing has been done. Some of them have been able to occupy our places for the past 10 years. And Shaun, if government don't take this issue seriously, these people have grand stand and master plan to wipe more villages. Alarm has been raised in May, even the one that happened in Kanam. The local government chairman in Lankan raised an alarm. Even the present member, Honorable Gasby, raised an alarm. The deputy speaker, who is from Wase, raised an alarm. If people at that level, all of us will raise an alarm, nothing happen, what we say will happen actually happen, then who will you blame?
All right. We hope that something is going to be done now, because the lives of people have been lost every other time that these kind of incidents are happening. Honorable Dachong Bagos, a member of the House of Representatives, representing Plateau State in the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And we wish safety for your people.
Thank you, Shaun. We hope everything goes fine.
Hopefully. Sad. Let's move into some political matters now. You might be wondering, how many political parties do we have in Nigeria exactly? At least we have 18 of them. But it appears some of the activities of a few are being noticed. What is happening in other political parties tonight? Perhaps you say maybe the fourth biggest or fifth biggest political party in Nigeria is the Social Democratic Party. And the affairs are already getting attention because there are stories now, rumors, political rumors you call them, that there are some heavyweights that are planning to move into the SDP to use it for the 2023 election. If things don't go well in some of these other big political parties. Tonight I'm being joined by the National Publicity Secretary of the SDP, Mr. Rufus Ayenigba. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Sure, thank you for having me.
First and foremost, let's clarify before I go into some of the other issues in your party SDP.
Yeah.
How true is it that you are preparing grounds for a very heavy defection to your party for the presidential race? Is it true?
Sean, the SDP has been well primed over time for this time. You recall that the party has a very beautiful history that Nigerians relate with. It was the party that won the presidential election in 1993 with the phenomenal MKO Abiola victory. And as we speak, the party is basically in a position that has attracted so much attention. Not necessarily because we are preparing grounds for defection.
But is it true that you are preparing for defection?
No, the
thing is that
it's not about defection.
You know about something about television. If you say it is not and it comes through tomorrow, people will call us, Rufus said that it wasn't true. Now it has come to light.
We are not preparing the party for defection. We are preparing the party to win the election in 2020.
But have you been approached as a political party by some of the heavyweights in other political parties?
Let me be very specific. As we speak, we have 6 presidential aspirants already who have obtained their nomination forms, and more are coming. 2 Saturdays ago, I was in Kwara on behalf of the party to receive the massive defection of APC, the ruling party in that state, to the SDP. In Adamawa, people are moving in their numbers. One of the biggest politicians in Adamawa, Dr. Umar Ado, moved with thousands of his...
Engineer Shagoni also moved to your party in Ekiti
Engineer
State.
Shagoni is not that he's moved to our party. Engineer Shagoni is winning Ekiti State because the people of Ekiti are saying no.
Let me be specific about my question.
Yes, please.
And this has been reported widely, but it has been denied also by a group linked to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That, analysis is showing that it may be forced out of the APC to come to your platform, and that there are grand preparation for him to come to your party. And that's why I'm asking the question. I didn't want to be direct, but it's been reported widely.
It's good you are direct.
I'm asking you.
And I'm going to give you
is it true? Have you been approached?
giving you a direct answer to the question. We don't have a discussion. We are preparing grants for presidential aspirants who have obtained our forms. And we are not bothering ourselves with people who have not shown up. And many are still coming. As we speak, we have 6 presidential aspirants. And we are dealing with that. We have our hands full with important matters of getting a credible process.
But if that happens to your party, how big will it be for you?
My brother, we leave that to unfold. But as we speak, we are not...
In politics, sometimes impossibilities are sometimes reality.
You want me to be direct?
I'm asking, should you be thrown with that opportunity in your party with the kind of caliber and the profile of the person I've mentioned, how big is it for your party?
The party has received big people to join the big people in the party doing great things.
But I'm asking a specific question, Mr. Rufus.
Yes, please.
You've just been a politician that you are.
Oh, no.
Should you welcome such a personality? How big is it for your party?
Everybody that comes to our party is important and will be
I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about this personality that I've mentioned.
As far as this matter is concerned, it is not an issue yet because it is not on the table.
Give us an understanding of the leadership crisis that your party is seeing over the last few years. Officially, who is the national chairman?
Dr. Olu Agunloye, the pioneer corps marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission and two-term Minister of the Federal Republic, is the national chairman and the leader of the party.
That has been resolved.
It has never been an issue.
It's been an issue, Mr. Henigba.
Yes.
You've taken this case. I mean, the people involved had gone far to on this tussle over who is the real leader of the party. So it's been an issue.
Mr. Sheon, thank you so much. Why I said it's not an issue is this. One, the issue is in court. And so we can't be talking about what is in court. We'll let the court go through the process.
So when you say, you make me look like I didn't know what I was saying. When I say there's an issue and you say there's another.
No,
if it wasn't an issue, why will it go to court?
Let me add to that. I am talking based on the relationship of the regulatory body, which is INEC, with the party. If you go to INEC today, ask about SDP, they will tell you Dr. Olu Agunloye is the leader of the party, is the national chairman.
That's a record with INEC.
That is what. But
there's a case in court over that matter.
There's a case in court. There are cases in court with too many parties. And so as far as we're concerned, that's why I said it is not an issue because, one, it has, until it goes through its course, full course, we get what
Let's take a breather, Mr. Yenigba.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, we'll talk more about your party. Plus, we'll be speaking with yet another presidential aspirant on the program, Tumebi Kachiku, a young presidential aspirant on the platform of the ADC. Will be speaking with us on young people's chances and the state of the nation. What are the options and the alternatives in resolving the problems of Nigeria? Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. The SDP National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Rufus Ayeniba, has been speaking with us on the SDP and whether or not that party is very enough to pose a threat in 2023. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Give us an understanding of what the perception of Nigerians are about political party participation in Nigeria. They talk about two major political parties and the performance of some of these other political parties. Since the emergence of APC in 2014, it's posed a real challenge. We had ANPP, we had CPC that have also given PDP a run for their money in 2003, 2007. But in 2015, the APC came to the arena and posed a brief challenge. Under 1 year, went to an election, beat the incumbent. Yeah. Is the SDP primed for that kind of challenge? Is it a real alternative to the two political parties that we have, major one?
SDP is well primed for 2023 election. Sean, let me just put it straight. And the SDP is not just seen by Nigerians as an alternative. It is the only credible alternative on ground. The truth of the matter is that we see the performance of this government and the other political party you talked about, and we know their history. Nigeria today is in a very serious situation. We started this program on a sad note of the mass killing in Plateau. This has been going on across Nigeria in the last 6 years, and there is no end in sight to all of that. And so there's this despondency in the political, in the national landscape across Nigeria. Nigerians are in total despair. And the promises have been, the hopes of Nigerians to get the promises realized is dashed. There's nothing on ground to show. Security, economy, things are in shambles. So the Nigerian people, they're looking at a situation where what will offer them the hope of getting out of this mess we are in. Nigeria today is in a situation of they say, oh, you are between the devil and the blue sea. There's none that is good. So alternative to getting out of a situation that is bad And that's what the hope of a refreshing hope of something better. We cannot continue on this line.
Have you done the work to be able to put
The work
yourself as an
is
alternative?
grand. Is the grand work's been there over all over Nigeria. It's a massive movement of people into the party. That's why I said it is not just we are preparing grants for the people decamping. Nigerians see SDP, they look up to SDP to provide that hope. We are primed to reenact the hope that MK Abiola offered Nigerians. Wipe up poverty, get
That is the
leadership.
slogan of Governor Yaya Bello's campaign.
No, yeah, anybody can borrow anything. And you recall that he has even gone to pick his Abiola's daughter to pilot or whatever. That's not my concern. What I'm telling you is that Nigerians relate with the SDP as the hope bearer to get us out of this. And the party is primed for it.
We're looking forward to that and hoping that the multiplicity of voices and activities or actions of political parties will help our democracy. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufus Ayenigba, the National Publicity Secretary of the SDP. Thanks so much for
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's tell you that the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and PDP presidential hopeful is being in Edo State today and is met with the Oba of Benin. Mr. Wike says he has a prerequisite experience to tackle insecurity in Nigeria if given the opportunity to rule. Mr. Wike who said this during a consultation visit to the Oba of Benin. He notes that working closely with the security agencies will solve the insecurity problems, which, according to him, is behind the economic challenges in the country today. In his comments, the Oba of Benin, Omanoba Ukwakwalakwala, who already second, expressed confidence in the abilities of the PDP presidential aspirant. He has Mr. Wike has been doing good works for the people of Rivers State. Tonight, we shall be speaking with one of the young persons wanting to become Nigeria's president, Dumebi Kachiku. He's a media businessman. He joins me now to shed light on what his ambition of wanting to become Nigeria's president and, of course, his party ADC. Whether or not they're also ready to take up the challenge as an alternative political party to the so-called big political parties, APC and PDP, that we have. Thank you so much, Mr. Kachiku, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sheon, for having me.
So you've obtained your form?
Yes, I have.
You are ready?
Very ready.
When they say young, so when the introduction of young comes up and you see the face of the people and you wonder whether or not you are young, do you belong to the young bracket of Nigerians in the real sense of it?
So youth is described or defined in different contexts, either the UN or Nigeria. I think the Nigerian government defines youth as age 35. So I believe that's not what I'm representing. Young for me is representing this generation, a generation different from our grandfathers and our fathers. That's what young means. So age bracket 50 and under, some people will say 55 and under. That's young, different from those people who have been ruling us in the last 2-3 decades. I guess when people say young, that's what they mean. So
where do you belong? Youth, young?
I am young.
Interesting. Because people will say, does it matter the age? The question is the capacity and the experience. What do you think?
In our climate, in Nigeria, age does matter. And I'll say this because it's a cultural perception, cultural attitude. So you know how our fathers act. They believe that their children are not capable. So if given the opportunity, just like with President Buhari, what do? They bring geriatrics like them into office. People who are totally disconnected from the reality of present day issues, global affairs, technology, economics, everything. They're totally disconnected. They can't even begin to understand the technology. I mean, you're seated here, you have a laptop, you have a smartphone before you. These are people who cannot begin to even understand a third of the apps you have in any of these devices. These are the people who rule us. How can you effectively rule today when you don't even begin to understand technology? So age does matter in our climate. Biden's an old man, but Biden is surrounded by young, brilliant minds. That's what people in developed nations
There
will
are
do.
old and savvy people.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
I've got some. I know a few of them.
Definitely.
I mean, who operated iPad before I even had one.
Definitely, there are some a few old and savvy people. And the few old and savvy people you will find are people you probably find in the private sector. There are some of them in government. But I'm telling you, majority of the people we find in government today are absolutely technology ignorant.
So for a leader, the situation we have on our hands in Nigeria today, we need a technology savvy leader. Is that what you're saying?
Technology is the basis of our world today. You speak of metaverse, for example, and you look at our government. How does our government respond to emerging trends like this when they can't begin to understand it? So technology, it is important. It's not the beginning and end of everything, but it's important to have somebody who understands the rudiments of modern day technology. It goes beyond that. But you find that even you take nations like India, take the UK, for example, or Europe as a whole, government is being run by technological platforms. Nigeria was still backwards. For the last 2 decades, we keep on hearing them saying, oh, government.
What will technology do for us?
What will technology do for us? Every single thing. Let me start, for example. I heard you earlier on the news, 4 trillion naira in subsidy. Ridiculous. What will technology do for you? You can track the exact number of liters of fuel consumed in Nigeria with the right technology. We are told that a lot of those trucks are leaving Nigeria. Technology can help you track that. Technology can help you track the source from the truck, the fuel coming to Nigeria to the end point where it gets into, where it's pumped from the nozzle. Technology can do that. Technology can do pretty much everything. Saw the train bombing in Kaduna, that train. Are you kidding me? Technology, you can see everything going on from Abuja all the way to Kaduna. You have cameras that can see 50 kilometers. You have night vision cameras. You can see pretty much everything if you understand technology and what technology can do for you. But if you don't, will you ask for it? Absolutely not.
Who is Dumebi Kachiko? Because if you want to lead Nigeria, you need the prerequisite knowledge, understanding, the requisite knowledge, understanding, experience. The question is, what have you done for yourself before you say you want to handle the affairs of Nigeria?
It's very simple. I'm a businessman, but the prerequisite I need to rule Nigeria is to be Nigerian, to be a Nigerian who cares, to be a Nigerian who's felt the modern day issues, the issues we feel in Nigeria today, to be a Nigerian who wakes up every day and is concerned enough to say, you know what, I want to do something about this. To be a Nigerian who has felt every sector, multifaceted sectors of Nigeria, and has dealt in those sectors. A Nigerian who is exposed to the rudiments of technology, finance, healthcare, agriculture, who's played in these sectors, both locally and internationally. But beyond that, I think that what Nigeria needs today is someone who cares enough to say, you know what, I'm willing to take on this issue and challenge the status quo. That's who I am.
And that's what you think is required?
Nigeria today, definitely.
You don't think that there's a need for a leadership and accomplishment in your own private endeavor before you don't think you need to tell Nigerians that this is what I've done for myself? Tell you what, and I can do very much more.
In a few words, I said that in the spheres I've operated in, from healthcare, agriculture, technology, real estate, construction, technology, all these spheres, I am accomplished. I've done a lot in those spheres. But I come to be a different person who's not speaking about me, but speaking about the people I seek to lead. Is their issues that are important. I de-emphasize myself. I'm not going to come here. I'm not the person. I'm not the candidate who you see taking pictures with orphans or showing their giveaways and all that stuff. No. My job is to speak about the people I seek to lead and their issues.
I see that you're talking somewhere about the Nigeria, the birthing in Nigeria, and you're talking about the present Nigeria. You describe it in a certain manner. I'm not sure can you remember what you said exactly?
What I said is that we need to kill the company called Nigeria and bet the nation Nigeria.
What does that mean?
Well, essentially what I'm saying is this. From the Royal Niger Company that the British their colonial masters transformed into a nation and handed over to us on Independence Day. It was a company, the attitude of a company. You had directors who were mining this geographical space. The people they handed over to took the mentality of those shareholders, right, and started mining this company. That's why all our successive leaders come in and mine Nigeria like a business, like shareholders. All they want is profits, self, right? So as a people, we didn't come together to define our common charter. Who are we? What do we want out of this geographical space? We have different cultures, different religions. What do we want? What defines us? What do we project to the world that this is who we are? We've never done that, and that's one of the issues affecting us. I heard you talking about the Plateau situation today. Those killings are happening because we are now in a space where we have foreigners coming into our nation. We let them in because there are some people in Nigeria who say, these people are part of us. They are my kinsmen from other countries. They can come in here because all of us identify as Fulani, and any Fulani in Burkina Faso, in Ghana, is a Fulani that can come here, right? But there are other Nigerians who believe that Nigeria is just for Nigerians. So until we have this common charter where we understand what defines us, who are we do we want to project to our descendants and outsiders that this is who we are not going anywhere.
So the question here, and I like to ask because we are in that situation in this country where it seems that the over 200 million of Nigerians agree on one thing, that we need a solution.
Yes.
But the question is whether or not we know what the problems are before we find a solution. Now, the realization that we need a solution is the realization that we're in some kind of trouble.
Correct.
So I'd like to ask, like I ask my other guests who are gunning for the same office, what in your mind is Nigeria's biggest problem at the moment?
Our biggest problem today? Buhari.
What do you mean by that? That's the name of a person.
That's the name of our President Buhari. Is our biggest problem today, and let me tell you why. It's an open secret that Buhari checked out mentally over 2-3 years ago, right? And when I say checked out mentally, he's been incapacitated by ill health. He came into government with let's be factual. Is President Buhari is okay, he's fine. He's in the presidential villa. No, understand me very clearly.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
I said that he checked out mentally, and I will define that, right? So it means that his ill health has led to an unfortunate situation where he no longer has full control or grasp of everyday issues.
Really?
And as such, Nigeria is falling apart. The President Buhari who sold himself to Nigerians is not the same President Buhari we are seeing today. The President Buhari who said, oh, you know what, give me 3 months, 4 months, I will stamp out the Boko Haram, I will do this, I will do that. It's not the same Buhari we're seeing today. The train bombing happened over 2 weeks ago. President Buhari we're seeing today has not spoken, not one word. It happened in Kaduna, just next to his home state. He has not spoken a word. Are you aware that we have over 100 or 200 people, we don't even know the number, who are still with those terrorists? Our president has not spoken. Let me tell you what the world sees. 3 days after that bombing happened, that's when CNN carried it. Why? If your president doesn't care, why should the outside world care? 10 people die in other places, 5 people die. It's world news. Nobody cares. People are dying in Plateau, people are dying in Katsina, all over the north. In the last 3 months, over 1,800 people dead in the northwest. Nobody cares. It's no news. Why? Your president is not standing in front of Nigerians and saying, I have a major problem. We're in a crisis situation. How many soldiers do you think?
But the president is going to be meeting the security chiefs on Tuesday.
And all he says is, I assure you Nigerians. That's all he says. A prepared text.
You don't agree with his style?
It's not about style. It's about what he knows to do. He has no grasp of the issues of today.
Is that fair to say that?
I'm absolutely certain.
And you think he can do better?
I am telling you, tell you what, Sheung, anybody right now can do better. I will certainly do better. I'm telling you that. The courage it takes to give a clear instruction to the military hierarchy right now to say, you know what, get rid of these people. where they are not in any doubt of your body language, that means a lot.
You are blaming the president for this?
I am telling you that the president has taken his eyes off the ball. And I'm saying this again, that his ill health precipitated this. It's a major problem. It's an open secret. We all know this, but we just want to look the other way. But Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is hemorrhaging every day. What do we do about this? Can Nigeria afford another 11 months? Is a question. I heard the chap, the House of Representatives chap, who was almost crying about what's happening in the Plateau. And I asked, for the last 4 years, where were they? This has been happening. You should be hearing motions every day, resign, impeach this man. That should be happening every day. How many people have to die before we know what to do? Can Nigeria afford 11 more months of President Buhari? Tell you what, Sheun, diesel 200 naira to 800 naira. Do you know the multiplier effect of that? Do you know the catalytic effect of that on the economy? Look at it, you as a media organization, how does that affect you? Think of the middle class being wiped off completely. They are the chief job creators in Nigeria, and they're being wiped off. So you have tens of millions going into the unemployment market. Come on, we need to accept that we have a real problem. It's not a problem of party anymore. It's a problem of patriotism. Are we patriotic enough to say, you know what, let's all rise up? It's not about what, Bright old enough to be my granddad or my father. So I sympathize with his situation. I said he came in with the best of intentions, but ill health, which can happen to anybody. So what should happen? Encourage the man to leave the office so Nigeria can survive. How many more days of this can we take? Should I wait till I'm leaving, and then someone who cannot feed himself anymore says, you know what, this man looks affluent, I'll just take on him. I'll feed on him. Should I wait till that day before I then say or do something about this? Your party is the ADC. Yes. And hopefully, if you get the ticket, because you have shown your seriousness about obtaining the form. Yeah. I'm hearing the news that your party is giving forms for free to women and people living with disabilities, and perhaps young people too. Correct. Is that true? That's true. Should you get a ticket of your party, what are the chances of your party at the election? Chances are very good, and I'll tell you what we're doing. In the last 2 election cycles, the last 2 decades of elections in Nigeria, actual numbers of those who vote presidential elections are less than 10 million. 85% of those people are in the rural areas. The people that you boss and give them wrapper and give them gari and give them all those things to incentivize them to vote, those are the people who give us a president every 4 years. People like you and I rarely vote. Election day is a picnic for us. We stay in our homes. Our job in ADC in the next 11 months to 1 year is to speak to people like you and I, the digital generation, the urban people, to say, you know what, it's time to get your PVC. It's time for us to march up this hill and define who we are and take over our nation and redefine our nation in a new path, in a new direction. That's what we're doing. So tell you what, we might not have 500 billion or 1 trillion like we hear some people have. We might not have 100 billion, but tell you what, Sheun, if people like you and I identify with our message, all they have to do is like and share. Like and share, like and share, till it gets to every man, woman, and child in Nigeria. They understand what is at stake, then they will go out, get their PVCs, and vote. I am looking for the 40 million people who have not voted. I'm not looking for the 10 million people who are voting all the time. I'm looking for the 40 million people who have never voted before, who now need to understand that this is why they have to vote. Those are people I'm speaking to. They are on smartphones. They are on smart devices. All I'm doing is using social media to talk to these people, reach out to them, appeal to their consciousness. Now, tell you what, the greatest challenge is that there's an apathy in those people towards Nigeria, government, and governance. All right. Dumebi Kachiko, member of the ADC presidential aspirant, thank you so much indeed for coming tonight. Thank you, and I wish you the very best. Thank you, Sean, for having me. Thank you. Okay. That's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. Bye for now.